you can ask for access to this page. There will be some paperwork, like Madan mentioned. Once that is signed off, all the formalities are taken care of, you will land on this page. This hosts all of our tools. These tools are currently available to you, and some of the tools are in process, so they'll be soon available to you. And today we'll talk about Triangulation tool, and I'll give you a practitioner demo of how you can get your hands dirty with this tool. Before we go into that, let's first onboard some data, right? So we will go to the data onboarding module. And so currently I've already onboarded data, so I'll just remove one data set and I'll show you how you can do that. So currently we are supporting two sales data sets, which is, it can be Shopify or any other sales platform. Second is your UTM source. And then two media data sets, the most common used media platforms, Facebook and Google AdWords. So we are supporting these four platforms currently. And to do a triangulation analysis, to generate a triangulation study, bare minimum, you at least need one sales data set and one media platform data set. Otherwise, it won't work. So we will add Shopify data. And when I select it, now here we request you to follow a certain schema. The column names and the column sequence. Please follow that. So you can download the sample file over here, and please adhere to whatever schema you see. For each platform, it's different. And in case you don't have your client data or your own data to work with, don't worry, we've got the dummy data ready for you. So you can download this. This is a hypothetical brand, it's dummy data, and it's already in the schema, which is triangulation friendly. So you can just download it and then upload it here, and you can use it to build the study and figure out the nitty-gritties of how the data is handled in that. So we will upload the Shopify data set here. In case there's any anomaly, the schema is not matching with our required schema, there'll be an error pop up and it'll show you exactly what's not matching. So you'll have to redo the process by arranging your columns and making sure everything matches. So our Shopify data is successfully onboarded. Also, talking about Shopify data, when you get your Shopify data, please make sure that you have the referring channel, which is the referring platform. Are the conversions coming from Google? Are the conversions coming from Facebook? Or which platform are they coming from? And you have your customer type also defined. So here, today's demo, we're going to talk about a business, a brand which focuses on three customer segments or three P&Ls. They are synonymous for us. And those three segments would be new, existing, and churn or win back. So for new, we can look at first-time customers. So there are a few interchangeable terms that we use for new. You can call them as acquisitions, you can call them as first-time customers, or you can call them as new customers. These are all synonymous and interchangeable. So using Shopify data, you can figure out the weights. What is the new versus existing versus win-back customer ratio? And then you can apply these weights to Facebook and Google conversions, because by default, they will not have that in their platform. So you will have to do some data wrangling work to get your files ready in case you are doing a 3 PNL or a 2 PNL analysis. So you get your weights here and make sure that you are doing it at a platform level. So let's say I'm looking at Facebook. So I know my new versus existing ratio is 56% is to 28%, right? If I look at a Google level, it will change. So that's why you need to have this 52 versus 32%. So these are the percentages that you can then go back and apply to the platform data and then onboard it to this module. And also we have mentioned that in the help documentation, there are certain columns that we request that you manually prepare in the platform, media platform data set, like channel and customer segment. Channel would be based on your campaigns. What are the alignment? Channel could be a brand search, it could be a non-brand search, PMAX, shopping, display. So we request that you prepare this channel by reading the campaign names or the ad set names in case you're working on Facebook data. Also, based on campaigns, please prepare the customer segment or the PNL field, the column. Once you have this, then you can onboard the data. So this takes care of the data work. Once you've got the data working, you can onboard it here. And then once everything is good, you can go to the triangulation tool and you can generate a study. These are the existing studies that we have. And let's do a quick new study. And okay, so we will go through a 3 PNL case study. We will use Shopify. For this brand, there is no UTM data, so we didn't onboard it, and that's why it's not available for us over here. Select for selection. Under multipliers, you can select M-square benchmark multipliers. In case you have your own set of multipliers, you can manage them in a format like this. We can give you the format, and then you can hand that over to us so that we can onboard it and make it available for you to use. If you don't have anything, you can use the M-squared benchmark multipliers. These are industry standard. And also, in case you want to see your business under the lens of Laser Away, which is an aesthetic dermatology brand, the CMO, Paul Baumgart-Huber, has been gracious enough to lend us his tried and tested multipliers. So you can use these multipliers. And so for this case study, we will use M-square benchmark multipliers. Now, based on the amount of data you've onboarded, it could take somewhere around 2 to 3 minutes to generate a study. Once that's generated, you will see it on the screen over here. But for right now, I have already prepared one study, and we'll go through this. In the meanwhile, that new study will get created. So I would suggest that you start with the how-to section. It's a descriptive section where I've explained how the different sections work, different tabs work, and which cell to touch and which tab. Most of the stuff is automated in this file. There are certain areas where manual intervention will be required, so I'll let you know where that can be done. And once you've onboarded the data, all the channels and the platform will get auto-populated over here. Just look at them, make sure that they are reflecting correctly. And in case there are a few custom channels that you need to onboard, which we are not supporting, but you have the data with you, you're maintaining that in an Excel sheet, you can mention that over here, and that would be available to you for use throughout the triangulation study. So let's just say that you've got Snapchat prospecting. So we've got platform as Snapchat, and then so now Snapchat prospecting is populated, and now it will be available for you to use. And once the channel list tab is populated, you can go to the selection page based on your brand's preference. Like you want to look at orders, you want to look at revenue. In case you don't have UTM data, in case you don't have Google Analytics data, you can hide and unhide a certain set of columns. The views are huge in the sheet, so we've just done our best to make sure that you don't have to spend additional time in hiding and unhiding columns. Certain standard columns are already set up for you to focus on. And so use this to hide and unhide, like I said. And then now that you've onboarded so much data, all of the data is getting stitched. You've got Shopify data, you've got 2 media platform data. So you would want to validate that data. So this is where all the data gets stitched together, and you can view your sales or your Shopify figures over here, broken down by P&Ls. You've got your time frame filter over here. You can look at it for the whole year, or you can look at it for the quarter, or you can look at it for the month. The lowest granularity that we support is a month level data. And then you can look at your ROI metrics over here. If everything looks good, you can proceed to the P&L tabs. In the current study, we will focus on revenue. So we will not look at orders. Even though we have the data for orders, we will focus on revenue. And so we will go to the P&L tab. We'll come to these tabs later on, but first let's go over here. Now, once you generate a study, all of this would be blank for you. You will have to select your channels over here, and then the data will get populated. So these channels are coming from the channel list page. So that's why I said if you've got any issues over here, you'll have to do your deep dive right over here, because this will populate channels for the whole triangulation sheet. So this is populated, and if it's generated, I'll show you how a blank sheet would look like. Like this is what we created just now. It'll open in the background. Let's come to this. And so what we have over here, this view is common across all the PNL tabs. We've got 3 PNL tabs over here. We've already set up our time frame selection, and at the beginning, at the initial stage, we said that we want to use M squared benchmark multipliers. In case you change your mind, you want to use Paul's multipliers, you can do that right over here, and the numbers will change. And so once you select your platform, all the figures will get populated. In case you've got an additional platform, like we talked about Snapchat prospecting, which we currently are not supporting, but you still want to add it to your triangulation study and you want to see that data alongside Facebook and Google, what you can do is like a updated channel list tab with Snapchat prospecting. So what I can do is I can select Snapchat prospecting here, and then whatever you see highlighted in red, this is where we need some manual inputs from you, because since you did not onboard Snapchat prospecting data, we have no way of figuring out what the spend is, what the platform reported revenue is, what multiplier will need to be used. So you can update those figures over here, and then rest of the triangulation sheet, the automation will take care of that. We can calculate the ROAS, we can calculate contribution to sales, we can do everything. So there are certain manual inputs that we require from you. So you can do that. And if you're not using it, you can hide it. So we've got our spend over here. We've got our percentage spend split over here. In this case, Facebook prospecting, that's got the highest spend for acquisition. So this tab talks about new customer acquisition. So all the numbers focus on that, except for the sales figures, which are, this is the total, and then these are broken down over here by the corresponding PNLs. And so here we break down the data into base attribution and advanced attribution. So this is what triangulation is about. You pick base data, base attribution data coming from multiple sources, coming from multiple methodologies. You've got your platform, you've got your UTM, you've got your GA reporting. You bring those data sets, and then you've got multiple advanced attribution methodologies, advanced attribution sources. You've got your incrementality, you've got your MMM modeling data. So we bring all of these data sets together, we stitch them in a view like this, and then we use them to triangulate on a decision. So this is your decision support system, and this is what triangulation is about. And so we look at currently we don't have GA data, we don't have UTM data, so all of that is hidden. For us, base attribution data right now is only available at a platform level. So this is that data. And wherever possible, we've given you tooltips. So you just have to hover over the data and you can figure out what that cell means or what that column means. And then there is the multiplier. This multiplier is what you had selected at the initial stage. It's the benchmark. In case you want to update it, what you can do is there is a hidden tab over here which houses all the multipliers. You can go over here and you can update the multiplier. You can also see that what is the taxonomy, what's the nomenclature for Facebook Advantage, how are you writing down Facebook prospecting. So in case anything is not populating, you can just see that what's the taxonomy, what's the exact words that you have to write. Because recently I saw somebody had written brand underscore search. So it works out when you use it as a channel, but when you try to use it, when you try to populate the multiplier, there is no brand underscore search. There is brand space search. So you can, it's a good habit to just unhide it and check the data over here. And in case you want to change a few numbers, few multipliers, you can do that at the custom section. Like let's say for Facebook prospecting, I did not agree with the benchmark multiplier 70% for Facebook prospecting. So I changed it to 43%, which is my tested figure, or maybe some industry expert gave me a figure. So I've updated this. Now what I can do is I updated it under custom for acquisition. So I can come back here and then I can select custom, and then this Facebook prospecting multiplier, it will change to the one that I selected, which is 43%. So that's how you can play with your multipliers. Now, in case you had onboarded UTM or GA data, you could select your base attribution system over here. but currently we have only platform data, so we will select platform. And once you select that, this multiplier will be bounced off of against that selection. So we selected platform, so this 70% into 5.3 million, you get your incremental revenue. Now, for this case, for this brand, we have done some MMM exercise also. So we know the MMM figures. So those are reflected over here. In case you don't have any MMM figures, you're just starting from scratch and using M-squared benchmark multiplier. So this column will be blank for you. So you will have only platform as base attribution methodology, and you will have only incrementality as advanced attribution methodology. In case you have your MMM figures handy, what you can do is you can go to the three corresponding MMM tabs, and you can update your figures over here. So currently, we are picking data from the latest tranche, which was tranche 3. In case you have another winning tranche, which is your latest modeling exercise that you just performed, and you've got the output from there, you can upload it over here and call this as 0 and then call this as 1, and that will be picked up. This is how you can manage your MMM figures inside triangulation. You can just keep adding them over here, maybe delete a few older ones, and then just flag out which one you want to use, and the tool will pick it up from here. Also, while running MMM, the system uses a different terminology, different taxonomy. It uses a technical taxonomy, which is, for this example, Facebook underscore advantage. But in triangulation, we talk in terms of this taxonomy. So this is a simple mapping of translating the MMM taxonomy back to triangulation friendly taxonomy, and that gets populated over here, and that takes care of your updating your MMM data. Now that MMM figures are also updated, we've got our spend, we've got our base and advanced attribution conversions, we can calculate ROI. So in this case, since we are looking at revenue, we are looking at ROAS. So you've got your base attribution ROAS and advanced attribution ROAS. Then next step is you start to look at contribution. So in this case, it's contribution to acquisition revenue. So here, Facebook prospecting, the contribution is, as per platform reporting, it was supposed to be 68%, but then advanced attribution says that it's lower than 50%. So the impact you can see over here at the grand total level, that as per platform reporting, the contribution by media is 75% to new customer revenue or acquisition revenue. But incrementality says that it's 51%, and our MMM modeling says it's 42%. And that's your eye-opening moment right over there. You can see the huge difference in figures. Now that you've looked at different base attribution methods and different advanced attribution methods, you have to select over here which method you trust the most. So in this case, we have only platform data. In case you had UTM data and you trusted it more, you would have used UTM over here, and then you would have used UTM over here, and that would populate your final triangulated base attribution revenue and your triangulated advanced attribution revenue, and based on that, your ROAS would get calculated. So this is the triangulation section. You are triangulating on which base attribution, which advanced attribution methodology you want to use. Same process needs to happen with retention and reactivation, which is retention is your existing customer and reactivation are your churn or your win back customers. Same process, just that you keep in mind the purpose of the PNL. And now there is one thing that you need to focus on is the halo effect flag. There are cases which we've observed in market that there could be channels focused on one PNL. Let's say you've got your Facebook remarketing focused on your existing customers, but there could be some conversions coming in from new customers as well. These are just market dynamics. You cannot stop a new customer from clicking on that banner, and you will see some conversions over there. So in that case, what we will do is, if we see any orders or any conversions coming in for Facebook remarketing under non-intentional PNL, like in this case, new customers, Facebook remarketing is not supposed to bring in new customers, we can call this as a halo effect. And this is a good conversation piece with your client or with the brand that, this is not your intended PNL, but still you are getting some conversions over here. So this is something you can consider this as a cherry on top, or you can consider this as something worth doing a deep dive for. So this is how you use the halo effect flag, and the definition is written over here. And so this takes care of all of our PNL tabs. And once those are populated, you will have to make the same selections over here. And this summary tab brings together the data from all three PNL tabs, and it shows you one consolidated view. So what we are doing here is we are taking a brand's data, we are breaking it down into its corresponding PNLs. We are doing our analysis, we are doing our base versus advanced attribution analysis at a PNL level. And then once we've done that, we are bringing that data back up, we are stitching it back together, and then we are looking at a consolidated level. So this is what this summary triangulation tab is about. And I would say this is the most important tab of this whole analysis. And the rightmost section is the most exciting part of this tab. So we'll move forward to that. Before that, these are all the summations. So in case you've got some channels which are cross PNLs. So continuing with summary triangulation, like I said, we broke down the conversions, the spend, everything into the corresponding PNLs, and now we are bringing them together. So the figures that you see over here, these are the summation of all the corresponding three PNL tabs. And then this section that you see over here, what this does is it shows you the percentage conversions broken down by PNLs. So in this case, I've created one example with some dummy figures that Facebook remarketing, even though it's a remarketing channel focusing on existing customers, it's got some conversions under new customer PNL also. So this is a good analysis piece where if you've got like 15, 20 channels, you can see what are those channels intended PNLs or customer segments, and where are most of the conversions coming in from. So this is that section. And now this is the most exciting section of the whole analysis, the whole study. This is where you do some media mix scenario estimates, where you make some decisions, and then you do a few calculations to see how your decisions will fare, or how your decisions will impact the spend and the conversions. So I've created a few hypothetical decisions here just to show you how the calculations work. So in this case, we are saying that, okay, based on whichever metrics that we look at for Facebook Advantage, we figured out that it's a good contender for testing by scaling the spend. So we've taken a decision that we will scale the spend, and it's not an urgent decision, so we've kept the sensitivity as low. And we would like to test it out under the acquisition customer segment. So when you actually run your test, you would have to mention that, okay, for this channel, for this test, I'm focusing on new customer acquisition, or I'm focusing on existing customer retention, or churn customer win backs, right? So you select that over here. And then since we are scaling spend, so we're going to increase the spend by 50% more. So the initial spend was 99K. Now it will become 149K. So it's 150% increase in spend. And you see these two areas, these two sections in red. So wherever there's red, we require manual input from you. So it's up to you. It's up to a consultant's judgment on what the percentage change would be. So once you increase it by 150%, this would be your marginal spend. And then there's a diminishing factor that we apply. So diminishing factor means once you increase your spend in the same channel under the same customer segment, your ROAS will not remain the same as before. It would actually go down a little bit. And that dampening factor, it's called the diminishing returns, and we've applied it. So we are saying that you will not get your initial ROAS of 1.7, but it will go down to be 1.2. So this takes care of, this makes your calculations more, market worthy, or this is what the ground reality is, right? You will not see the exact same ROAS as before in case you are increasing your spend. Now you've got your marginal spend and you've got your updated ROAS. So you can calculate what your updated marginal revenue would be. So if you increase your spend by this much, this is your marginal revenue. Now this revenue's contribution to total sales or total revenue would be 1.2%. Now, these conversations are at a total level, right? After this, wherever you see PNL, now that these conversations are around what impact would be at the PNL level. Because when you do anything with a channel, the first impact would be at the PNL level, where the channel is intended to be. And then at a cumulative level, at a total business level, it would be at a total sales level, right? So we are first looking at the total sales level, and then we are focusing on PNL. So the same metrics, same calculations, but at a PNL level. So at a total level, we can see the impact, it would be 1.2% contribution, and at a PNL level to the total new customer revenue, the impact would be, the contribution would be 2.3%. And these are all automated calculations. You don't need to touch them. It's just that wherever there's a number in red, we require you to input some values there. And once you do that, right, you will have your you will have your testing roadmap ready. So you can set it up in a document. You can set up your roadmap saying that in this quarter, I will test out these two channels. Next quarter, I will test out these two channels, and parallelly, I may run MMM exercise, right? So this is the whole purpose of this analysis, that we need to figure out what the true contribution, true ROAS is, channel by channel, broken down the PNL and then brought together, and then do some media mix scenario estimations to suggest the future actions. And those future actions could be a testing roadmap, or it could be MMM exercise. It depends on how the conversation goes with the client. And that is all about summary triangulation. Once that is populated, these are just key metrics, again populated for you over here. What are your total orders? Or in this case, we're talking in terms of revenue. What is the total revenue? What is the total advance attributed revenue? And what's the final contribution figure? So it's a 33% contribution. And that is broken down by PNLs. Now, once this portfolio tab is taken care of, we will move to this tab where you can actually prepare for your presentation. If you remember all these pages, they're broad, right? And they are broad for a purpose, because we are stitching all the metrics together and showing all of them to you so that you don't miss out on anything. But at the end of the day, when you're preparing for client presentation, you would want to focus on just key metrics enough so that your story is told, but not so many metrics that the client gets confused. So this is where you can build your presentation, views for your presentation. Let's say I want to take Facebook Advantage. I just have to take a screenshot of this. I want to do Facebook prospecting. All the decisions will also get populated over here. So this is the purpose of this tab. And we've taken care of all tabs. Just the last one is remaining, which is the glossary. In case you get confused in case you have any doubts about what this metric means, or what's the definition of this metric, you can always come back to glossary and you can read the definitions over here. We also have a resource section inside Triangulation where there's an exhaustive document where you can read up about what triangulation means and what are the different metrics used in it and stuff like that. So you can always refer to this. You've got a demo video over there. So, and then you've already got your help documentation inside the Triangulation in terms of glossary and the tooltips and the how-to section. So this takes care of Triangulation, a practitioner demo of Triangulation.